We continue our live coverage ahead of the State of the Nation address tomorrow. Let's go live to the Cape Town City Hall, being readied for that SONA address. Kathy Mokhachana is there for us. Along with her, of course, is our senior political reporter, Ziyanda Ngcobo. Ziyanda, good evening. What's the latest from there?
Well, Stephen, I've moved a little away from the Cape Town City Hall, and it's just down the road where, members of the Defence Force and the military band are rehearsing ahead of basically the pomp and ceremony for tomorrow. But someone who will be able to tell me the different designations that are here this evening is Andres Mahapa. He speaks for the SANDF, South African National Defence Force. Mr. Mahapa, if you could just tell us what exactly is going to be taking place here and who is here.
Okay, good evening, and to your viewers as well. Probably maybe let me start by referring you to our artillery guns. Those guns are the one that are going to do the 21 gun salute tomorrow. All the four of them from artillery regiment here in Cape Town. This side here we have the 5 bands in total. These 5 bands, they are going to accompany the street lining. Street lining are the members who are going to march through Harrington and then go up straight to Reiter, and then from there to Paytekant until Darlington Street, where the event is going to take place. So they're going to start any moment from now. So there's 4 services that comprises the South African National Defence Force, which is the Army, the Air Force, the Military Health, and the Navy. A total of the members who are going to do the marching is about 288. That's what's going to happen today.
I'm very curious about, the logistics around this, because we know that this is the first time that this isn't being held in Parliament. So you, as the organizers as well, would have had to think very differently about where you place the military cannons, how you go about the walk. Was there ever a time where you considered not including these elements ahead of the State of the Nation address?
That was not an option at all, because we've been doing it for years, so it's nothing new for us. We know which equipment must be placed where, how must the marching take place, who must be the leading commanders and so forth. It's nothing new. So it's just that this time is different because it's not at Parliament itself, but the sequence of events is still the same. The number of people participating is still the same. We have not shortened any amount of members. It's still the same.
So there wasn't any difficulty in terms of the logistics about how you're going to move, because you've obviously had to cordon off different aspects as well of, this particular precinct.
The advantage about logistics is that we've got units here in Cape Town. So we're not moving everything from Pretoria to Cape Town. So the units around Western Cape, they're supporting us in terms of the logistics. So it's not a challenge at all.
And just, explain the importance and the relevance of having these bands walking through, the streets of Cape Town ahead of the State of the Nation address, which is when the President calls the two, houses of the National Assembly, and the representation that this particular segment gives.
The importance of the SANDF in support of the SONA is to emphasize the support of the Constitution and the democracy. That's why we are here. Remember, we are an institute of the state, a partisan. We support the Commander-in-Chief, who is the President. So today it's a celebration. Tomorrow it will be a celebration. We are happy to be part of the democracy, that we don't take sides in terms of politics as the military. We're here in support of the Commander-in-Chief. So the bands, they are also ready to support the people who are marching, because there won't be anyone who's shouting left, right, and center. They're going to get the pace from the band.
It's very important that you mention that the SANDF does not get involved in the politics of the country. So, it's significant then that this is for South Africans in essence, and to represent the show of force of the country.
What you are saying is very critical. South Africans need to know that Defence Force is the line of defence, the last line of defence. If everything else fails, then they have to rely on the Defence Force. They need to defend the country and its people, and South Africa needs to trust the Defence Force. If the South Africans are not trusting the Defence Force, then we are in problem. We are here to make sure that people sleep peacefully, knowing that we are here to guard the borders, even though they are porous, but it's our responsibility to guard the borders and assist the police in terms of law and order within the country.
You know, it's very interesting that you mentioned that, because we know at some stage there were some military veterans who held ministers hostage, and you are saying it's very important that South Africans feel safe. I wonder then if you have any comments on that, and you know, how you manage also the image of the South African National Defence Force.
Look, I won't be in a position to expatiate more about that event because it's at the minister's level. However, those members, they are not the serving members. Those are the military veterans. They were in the force before, now they are the veterans. People who are wearing uniform, they are there to defend this constitution. There is no way we can compromise that. Even if we were there, whether these people will serve with them or not, we had to defend the minister because it's our constitution to defend the minister and the president.
Andries Mahapa speaks for the South African National Defence Force. Stephen, as you can see then, you know, those four bands are getting ready to do their last rehearsal ahead of the State of the Nation address, where President Cyril Ramaphosa at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening will be telling the nation about where we are, how far we are with achieving our goals, and just how safe we are in this country.
Well, Ziyanda Ngcobo, I mean, there's a lot that's coming up tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of political talk about what's happening. But the pomp and ceremony, in a way, setting the scene. In a way, it makes the president perhaps look almost more powerful. It's going to be quite important tomorrow, and you can, from what you've been telling us, there are also a lot of preparations ahead of it. How important is it going to be, Ziyanda?
It is going to be crucial, Stephen. I think, you know, it would not be facetious or out of order for me to say that, you know, this is the President's sixth State of the Nation address. However, many are saying, well, Mr. President, what exactly have you achieved? Don't give us dreams. Outline a plan. And by the way, he's outlined a plan before, Stephen, but how far has that plan been achieved? You know, just yesterday I was thinking about how the country actually does have a national development plan which has goals set out for 2030, and yet it hasn't been quite clear on just how far we've achieved the goals set out on that crucial document, which is basically the mission statement of you know, the country. And so it will make the president seem like he's in a powerful position, but just how much is he in a powerful position when we know and we've been told in several reports, not just the recent one on the July unrest, that the factional battles within the African National Congress have threatened the state. And so, as you heard me speak to Mr. Andries Mahapa about how the South African National Defence Force is, you know, the country's line of defence, really, Stephen, and that South Africans should know that there is this, you know, line of defence for them in protection of the Constitution. One wonders then whether that gives enough confidence then when you know that the SANDF would fall under the, you know, the Department of Defence, which is part of the security cluster which was pointing fingers at each other, not only in the July unrest, the parliamentary fires, etc. But Stephen, I'm going to step out of shot because this particular rehearsal is about to get underway, and they're about to walk, I think it's about 45 minutes, isn't it, Mr. Mahapa?
Plus 45 minutes from the assembly point until the place where the ceremony is going to take place tomorrow.
And just how much effort does it take to put something like this, you know, together? How much practice does it take?
For the past 5 days, we've been practicing, and today is the last day of a practice, so that tomorrow everything must be perfect.
Very interesting. I mean, these men are wearing kilts.
They are called the pipers, these ones. Yes, a Scottish pipers.
And why are they included in our State of the Nation address?
I didn't hear that one.
Why are they included as a part of the representation of our State of the Nation address?
It's part of the tradition of the military, so they are part of the ceremonial aspect.
And we're seeing these several flags, of course, being carried, you know, by the soldiers. How many of them are there? Is there significance in terms of the number of South African flags that are being carried?
It's got nothing to do with the number. The symbolic is that we are there to defend the flag, to defend the country. That's what it implies to. Yeah.
All right, Stephen Crotus, that's Andries Mahapa explaining again then that rehearsal officially now underway, about 45 minutes until they walk through the streets of Cape Town, and we'll of course be seeing more of that tomorrow when the actual event gets underway.
Ziyanda Ngcobo, our senior political reporter, thank you very much indeed.